What's up? It's your girl Evie with Evie TV, and today I'm coming to you guys because I have some questions. In the case of Naziah Harris, who's an 8th grader from Detroit, her body has still not been found. However, Jarvis Butts is in custody with connection to her disappearance. As many of you know, Jarvis Butts does have a history of SAing young girls. He is 42 years old, and Naziah, again, is an 8th grader, 13 years old. She was much younger when this all began. And I do want to just say, trigger warning, this video may not be for everyone. It is some disturbing content, images, etc. So what I'm wondering is, did Jarvis Butts do this by himself? In my opinion, Jarvis Butts did not do this alone. To me, it looks like there's at least a few other people that's involved with this case. And the reason I say that is because Jarvis Butts had a case going on already where he had to turn himself in February 7th, 2024. Now, originally, I will say he was supposed to turn himself in the same day that Naziah disappeared, January 2024. However, he claimed to have some legal issues and his date was pushed back to February 7th or 9th. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was February 7th. However, it was early February, when Jarvis Butts was taken into custody for unrelated charges to Naziah. Now, this is where my question comes in at. Jarvis Butts was incarcerated, right? Now we're going to fast forward. There's a lady that testified in the preliminary hearing that she found Naziah's school ID. She picked it up March 7th, 2024. Now keep in mind, this is just a random woman who lives near Naziah's bus stop that located her ID in the grass March 7th, 2024, and she reported it to the police. Now, what she also states in her testimony is that she walked by this ID for 2.5 weeks before deciding to pick it up. And you're probably like, okay, Ann, well, 2.5 weeks before March 7th is mid to late February. Jarvis Butts was already in custody. Now, keep in mind, something else also happened mid-February. According to other sources, Naziah's grandmother had to be bullied. And those are not my words. Those are from Mark with another podcast. This information later, but Naziah's grandmother was allegedly bullied to do a press conference for her missing granddaughter. She did not want to do that press conference. She was also allegedly threatened to do the press conference or else she would face charges. That press conference happened on Valentine's Day 2024. That is February 14th, 2024. And at that time, Naziah had been missing for over a month. Keep in mind, she was missing from January 9th, 2024. The press conference occurred February 14th, 2024. And maybe a few days later, now, in my mind, the ID appears at the bus stop. And I'm going to also show you guys a picture of her school ID that appears to have red stains on it. You can say it is, blood. It looks like blood on her school ID. And we know that the weather had been wet and rainy and cold in Detroit when Naziah went missing. So for an ID to appear mid-February, over 1 month after Naziah has been missing, with fresh blood while Jarvis Butts is already incarcerated, it looks like operation. It could not have been a one-man operation with him being incarcerated and her items appearing. Did the press conference that happened on February 14th, 2024 alert these people to get rid of her items? We do know that Jarvis Butts, to me, That raises a little bit of suspicion. Also, keep in mind her pink jumpsuit and black hoodie were located around the time that the ID was discovered. Again, this is all while Jarvis Butts is incarcerated. So, what I am saying is, this was not a also where some of Naziah's items were located. He spent roughly 2 hours in that area where Naziah's pink one piece outfit and her black hoodie and also a pair of red and black shoes were located. What I noticed about her items that were found at 7 Mile and Berg is that the shoes and the pink butts was in the area of 7 Mile and Berg did not look like they had been out there as long as her black hoodie. I'm considering the weather and the time that those I imagine them to look while being out there for a long time, as long as January 10th when Jarvis was there. And things to me are just not adding up. Those items were out there, how they looked, and how clothes, those same clothes I just talked about, the black hoodie and the pink one piece and the red and white and black Nikes, is not what Naziah was seen wearing when she got off of the school bus. We all know Naziah was wearing light blue jeans and a colorful jacket is what everyone says they seen her. Another question that I have about this whole thing is, now my next question is, when did Naziah change her clothes? Or did she change her clothes? Forensics showed that Jarvis Butt's DNA was in fact on Naziah's black hoodie. However, it could not be located on her pink clothing. In addition to that, they found two other that were not tested. That's right. Two others' DNA that were not tested were also on Naziah's items. And now we know from testimony that Naziah left school for sure. We saw her getting off the bus and walking down the street. After that, we're going based off of witnesses. Jarvis Butt's sister testified that she saw Naziah at the car shop getting in and out of the truck with Jarvis. Jarvis's friend and business partner, King or Cordell, was also with Naziah and Jarvis for hours after school. We know that King and Jarvis picked up Naziah near the car shop. We know that King and Jarvis drove to Ipsley, I cannot pronounce it, but 40 minutes out of Detroit. They drove with Naziah to drop off a red Jaguar that they had worked on to one of King's friends or relatives' home. The woman in that home testified that she did see Jarvis, King, and Naziah that evening. They spent some time there until King had to leave and get back to the car shop and then back home because King, Jarvis's friend, has a previous history. So he has a ankle monitor or a tether, they call it, where his locations are being tracked or can be verified. But we do know that they were together for about 6 hours, Jarvis, King, and Naziah. And then they went back to the shop, the car shop that is. And that's pretty much all we know. And another thing that I gained from another resource is that Naziah's mom had a phone of Naziah's. In fact, allegedly, it was interfering with the police's search for Naziah because Naziah's phone was pinging to her mom's house. The police showed up and allegedly asked her mom, does she have a phone or social media? The mom had denied that. However, once they showed up and say, hey, Naziah's phone is pinging here, Naziah's mom, who does not have custody of her and she does not live with, then said, oh yes, I do have her phone, and that was me turning her phone on and off. Now, according to Naziah's grandmother, Annette Harris, who also testified in the preliminary hearing against Jarvis Butts, Naziah did not have a relationship with her birth mother, and the grandmother does not fool with Naziah's mom. So my question is, did Naziah have a relationship with her mom that her grandmother wasn't aware of? Or did one of Naziah's relatives, meaning maybe her aunt Shannon or her twin sister Marquita, or Annette, Naziah's grandmother, or some other Naziah's phone to her biological mother? Or did Naziah spend time with her biological mother without them knowing and maybe left her phone there? And also, when is the last time Naziah's biological mother actually had contact with her? We did not hear from Naziah's biological mother, who goes by the name of Lady or Kenyatta. We didn't hear from her in the preliminary hearing. However, I think it would be interesting to hear from her biological mother to see if her and Naziah have been communicating, if Naziah would give her her phone, or if her mom maybe found it or someone else gave it to her. But I do believe her mom knows a little bit more or could bring a little bit more insight into Naziah's disappearance. And what I mean by that is she may know some more of Naziah's habits that could be leading us to more clues to where Naziah could possibly be. And also, going to the morning that Naziah went missing, Naziah's grandmother testified that she took them to school around 7:15 or 7:30 every morning after their morning routine.
That you drove Naziah to school every day, correct?
Correct.
Who else went to school with Naziah?
My other two children.
Naziah's aunt, Shannon Harris, who is also the mother of 5 of Jarvis's Butt children, she put on Facebook or sent a message to one of her relatives stating that that morning that Naziah went missing, she got on the school bus. So my question is Shannon sure she got on the school bus that day? Or did her grandmother take her to school like she says she does every single morning? Not only Naziah, but her cousins as well. So what we do know is that Jarvis has a history of SAing young girls. We do know that he did time in prison for this. We do know that he had a case going on now. But can we say that he actually unalived Naziah? And if he did, can we say that he did it all by himself? Or did he have accomplices? Stay tuned, guys.